Greetings, Nelson here today with another video. This video is for instructional purposes only. Use at your own risk. Today we're going to be working on another segment for the webrtc-cast technology and software. And today we're going to look at the setup page. What I have open here is the screen that I'm capturing from a kiosk install. And then I have a web page open. We'll get started here. I'll go in a new tab, https://cast:/8443, and we're greeted with the welcome to the webrtc-cast. Normally we would click there if we wanted to begin casting. Today, since we're going to be looking at the setup page and some of the features with it, we'll adjust the URL to include setup. The default password that ships with the project is the project name, webrtc-cast. And now we're presented with the setup page. A couple of things. The AP Wi-Fi right here, the technology, I don't quite have this developed yet where I can turn the device into a access point and a casting device. Essentially a client setup and an isolated AP setup with the equipment that you want to cast with. That's on the roadmap still. It's been a little more challenging to get that to work with the webrtc protocol correctly. So for now, you can use the station Wi-Fi to connect the casting device wirelessly if you chose to. Casting wirelessly has some potential implications. If your Wi-Fi is really good, you probably won't have any issues. And if your Wi-Fi is really bad, you'll probably have some issues. And it's hard to predict Wi-Fi. So, just a short blurb about that. The next component I want to talk about today is the optional web URL. So by default, when the kiosk device is, the casting device is waiting for a connection, it plays a default video. You can replace that video with whatever you would like to replace the video with, so that you can have your own information and propaganda showing. There was a small use case though where people didn't want to produce an MP4 video to demonstrate. They just wanted to show a slideshow or something embedded in an iframe, essentially is how the technology works. And so we included this feature with the project, the optional web URL. If the optional web URL is empty, it shows the default video when at rest listening for a connection, or if connection listening is disabled. Again, another kiosk usage. But in our case here, I'll put in the company webpage, and I'll save that. And what you're going to see is the resting page of the webrtc-cast goes to that. Now this again is an embedded iframe. So this only works if your website, your presentation, your whatever will function correctly inside an iframe. Now, if you take and you put the optional web URL as blank and you save it, what you're going to see is that we'll go back to the default video. So that's kind of how those two technologies are the default video and the optional web URL can be utilized for a kiosk type setup. The next part here is the network test URL. This is where the little cloud connectivity gets a heartbeat from. The default I have set is Google. And you can set that internally or to whatever you might want to determine the type of connectivity test that you want. You can also change the host name. When you run the kiosk installer script, the host name is set to cast. Again, this is really designed for a presenter type model. It can be deployed in corporate style multi-operational facility usage. So for instance, if you had a projector in every room or something, you wanted to put a webrtc cast device in each room to go hand in hand with your projector. A couple of features here at the bottom is reboot, show network info, check for updates, restart the display manager, and log out. And the final feature I'd like to talk about today is the disable listening for cast connections. This is if you really want to turn it down to kiosk only, no presentation ability or anything. If you notice here, I'll open a new tab. Yes, cast:/8443. If you go to the default URL, you see where it says welcome to the webrtc-cast and ready set cast. This is normal, ready to connect type setup. If you want to turn the device all the way down into a kiosk mode, I'm going to go over here to this and I'm going to disable listening for connections. Now when I do that, that actually writes a file, and so if we refresh this page, you can no longer establish connections once that file is there and they go to the landing page. It is not going to be presented with the prompt for casting. So this was an example how we could turn it down in full kiosk mode. I'm going to turn that back off here real quick and I'll refresh my page here. This was an example how we can utilize the setup page for some different operations. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and perhaps you'll watch another one.